Well, hello again, and welcome to Tarot for Our Times. Now, on the my last video, I did mention near the end that it looked very good for the Wisconsin election, and it turned out to be a win. I did have some uploading uh, issues with the video that it was going chung along, 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 so I had to kind of start all over again and get it up at midday instead of in the wee small hours. So I would say what was really great on top of the Senator Booker marathon speech was kind of at the end of that Susan Crawford won the seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, the one that the Muskrat was going to buy for her opponent. And I know he was very devastated. He probably took his little pacifier and went and cried all over the orange one's shoulder. So this, I think, it's amazing that these two major events would happen, that I would consider that they're such big turning points that you kind of expected one to happen 1 month or 1 week and the other the next week, but no, it was all compressed to one night. So I want to see, what does this mean for the Muskrat, because the world really hates him. And the card for the major card for the reading is Judgment in Reverse. I was talking with a friend on the phone about where would he go after this. South Africa? Nah, they hate him there. They hate him in Germany. They hate him everywhere. They just hate him all over the place. So what's going to happen to him? I'd love to think I don't care where he goes, just as long as he goes. So I'm going to look at what the effects of this election, coming on the heels for the historic Senate speech, what is that? What is it going to? First of all, what does that mean for him and how he stands? Then, how how could this affect us? And also, could he? I'm going to do a little quickie probably about, could he be arrested for the violation of election laws? I finished watching a couple of videos, and I think it was on the I think it was on the I've Had It video, where they showed that there had been a little video about some woman in Wisconsin say, I went out and voted and I have $1 million now, which got taken down. But as we all know, nothing ever dies on the internet. So that could be some evidence against him. They are moving in the I think in the Senate, the Wisconsin State Senate. They're putting pressure on the DA to charge him and arrest him. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see what comes up. But okay, so judgment, and it's bad judgment. When this is upright, these people are kind of like being reborn and coming out of the graves. When I see it in reverse, this is saying, well, he's not part of that group. And if you see on the thumbnail, they've kind of kicked him out, and that's no cheese for you, buddy. So that is basically what I thought that would represent where he's at. And that could be an awakening. Those poor people in Wisconsin, what they've been through with that god-awful governor, Scott Walker. And boy, they tried to recall him. Yeah, he was doing union busting, and it was a long time ago. I don't remember the year exactly, but I was working in the hotel, so I was a member of Unite Here, Local 57 in Pittsburgh, and we were one of the unions at the United Steelworkers building downtown, calling union members in Wisconsin to recall him. And I believe it was close, but he stayed in. But they have really been through so much. I remember them crowding in there in the state legislature, and it seems like, wow, these people really need a break. Well, it looks like they've gotten one now. So as I'm shuffling these cards up, but I want to go with I want to do an oracle for the beginning of this, then one at the end after all the readings. So I'm just going to give this a quick little shuffle. Shuffle it up. Okay. Alrighty, so I want to take one off the top. Abundance. You know what? I look at this. I look at this as, that this word abundance comes up a lot in that law of attraction stuff that we of the woo-woo set talk about, and manifesting it in the law of attraction and all of this sort of thing. But abundance it's a double-edged sword. On one blade of the sword, it's the muskrat using his abundance to try to rig the election so that he can have more abundance. But the other side of this is the working people, and Wisconsin is a blue collar and a farmer state, and has figured very big in the history of the labor movement. So abundance is being prosperous in the middle class. I mean, you don't have to drive a Rolls Royce or even a Beamer, but it means, being able to raise your family, have nice vacations, put money away for your children's education, so that there's that, and maybe have a little something to leave them at the end. So there's that kind of abundance. So I would say this election very well was the battle of the abundances. Do you want you worked hard for your money kind of abundance, or the greedy kind of abundance of the oligarch style of abundance? So just a little something to think about. So let's see what this means for the muskrat, because there have been hints that Big Daddy has said, kind of said in an interview, his work is done and he needs to go back and, rob whoever, exploit whoever in his own businesses. So there's talk about him leaving the 1st of May. I think I'm going to agree with some of my colleagues in YouTube land and say, I think that's going to be shorter. But at any rate, let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, the base of this reading is the 5 of Pentacles. And that's one of the guys saying to the other one that's sitting down, you know what? Your work is done. Time for you to hit the road. You've pretty much gotten all that you're going to get from on the other side of this window. So things are done. You're not in with the in crowd. And I suspect the Big Orange Daddy is he won't throw him under the bus, because that's dangerous for him to do. But I would say that he's kind of sweeping him out of the inner circle and praising him and say, oh, you need a vacation. You're wonderful, and thank you. So goodbye. Okay. I think he's gotten on his last nerve anyway. So the energy is, oh, yes. That's what I was saying. Has to be Fotis has to be really careful in telling the muskrat adios, because the high priestess is saying, I'm holding all of your secrets. You both have dirt on each other. So it's time to treat them with kid gloves, kind of a thing. So they're both kind of walking on eggshells with each other. But and maybe in a way he wants. Well, I think he wants to leave if if he's in danger of getting pinched by the Wisconsin authorities. So they have each other's deep dark secrets that have kept them out of the hoosgow. So underneath all of this is yep, our work is done in gathering all the money. With the Muskrat, well, it didn't quite work out as I had planned because they were all supposed to love me too. So maybe it's time for me to take the money and run. Oh, yeah. And he's gonna hold on to it for dear life. I think when he gets out of here, in whatever way he does, he won't be paying for the plane ticket, okay? Because this guy, from the fact that he withholds health care from his kids and the baby mamas and all that sort of thing, there's an old expression, he is squeezing the nickel until the buffalo screams. So I think he's like this greedy, stingy, one of those rich people. Oh, I left my wallet at home and I can't pick up the tab. Yeah, I think he's pretty much like, and then he wonders why everybody hates him. Okay, then we have, I'm going to call this the amicable divorce. This is really, really saying that it's maybe hit the road time, and we're going to be nice to each other because we can both destroy each other, but it's the amicable divorce. I'll write you every day, but it's time for you to go. And I think if he feels the heat, he said, yeah, it is time for me to go. Okay, so in the opposition of that is the Page of Cups. So now I'm seeing this as now he can go back to being the spoiled little boy and indulge his own emotional needs and desire, and I think just be in complete denial about how the rest of the world absolutely loathes him. So we have that. We have his conscious thoughts is, okay, what this election told me is that I have done all the magic that I can do. I bought Pennsylvania, I bought this and that, got him elected, at least that's how he sees himself, but I think he could be superstitious enough to say, this Wisconsin thing is a warning that the magic may be gone. My magic touch and charisma may be gone. I think maybe on some level he does know that he's hated. So that's what he's thinking. Definitely thinking that anything else would be the diminishing returns thing that we all learned in school. The law of diminishing returns. Like the harder he tries, the bigger he'll fail. I think he's kind of superstitious enough to maybe think that, but to tell the world something different. So subconscious, it's like, this is really pathetic. The subconscious thing is he does want that happy family life kind of a thing, and he got a phony version of that with Big Daddy, having him move into Mar-a-Lago, the White House, and this and that. And he probably thought it was because, well, this is the family I never really had, except overlooking the fact that that Big Daddy just kept him around to keep an eye on him, basically. And to con him, to keep his dark dirties, as, vice versa. So subconsciously, this guy wants it, but he's so damaged that he can't have it. So then he's pretty much rejected his litter of kids and the baby mamas and all of this sort of thing. But that is kind of and he just wants to be loved, but like nobody could. But he does all these things where people hate him. But that does make sense as the subconscious, like the happy family that prospers and yada yada. Okay, so let's see. Underneath here we have the Six of Swords in reverse. So he may leave. This is very interesting. This is he may geographically leave, but he's not moving forward emotionally, especially since he's kind of hooked on that ketamine stuff, and so he can leave. He can go all the way around the world and maybe hide in a jungle in Australia. They don't want him either. But emotionally, intellectually, he's not moving forward. All he's doing is changing locations. So this is a very addict thing of what they call the geographic, that he thinks once I move and put myself in another continent, things will be okay. But what he doesn't realize, he just takes all the baggage of the previous place that he's been with. But he really does want to go thinking that's going to fix him. It's the complete addict delusion. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen in the immediate future with him. Oh, the Queen of Cups. What this tells me is that he wants to move on and find another woman. This is the elusive Queen of Cups that can not only be a wife, but can also be his mother. So this is part of the quest of this Six of Swords thing, is finding that ideal woman. Good luck with that. So a long range outcome could be, the Eight of Pentacles. Oh, we're back to the coinage here. You can't have the Muskrat without, we've already got several coinage here. Seven of Pentacles, a Five of Pentacles. Okay, so here we have this always makes me think that he's, as much as he has figured he's been smart, or he's accumulated a lot of money, he doesn't use it very well. If he had maybe, let's say, half of the fortune that he started out with, he could very well be broke. So this is not only talking about money, but also about his health. I would say as the drug use continues, because according to him, he doesn't have a problem with that, is that I'm seeing him losing his money, and I'm seeing him losing his health, because he just never took care and planned things. He just threw money at things and hoped it would stick to the wall. But with X and with Tesla, not so much. So of course the stress of that has probably increased his dosage. So there you have it. So let's see what a hope and fear can bring. Hope and fear, the very, very strong woman. I guess this is another quest for the woman. That hadn't occurred to me, but this is a very strong, empowered woman that he might look up to, but that he's also intimidated by. This could be, and there's so many women that represent this. I think we're going to make this right now, in light of the Wisconsin election. This is a Susan Crawford type, who is, everything, a businesswoman, probably looks like she has a fairly nice family life, that whole thing. So I think beneath that party line, MAGA, schmaga thing is that deep down inside he might have really admired this woman, but at the same time this is the kind of woman who intimidates him. So this is sending him into a deeper spiral. This is interesting. This is the kind of woman, this and the Queen of Cups, the sister card, that's the kind of woman he would strive for, but that's the kind of woman he'll never get. So I think there is something personal in this, that this woman, Susan Crawford, represents the kind of woman that there's no way in hell that he could ever get someone like that. So the outcome of this is the Knight of Cups. Oh boy. Knight of Cups in reverse. Increase substance abuse increase. This is, yep. His with his hopes being dashed in that, trust me, I know. The drug usage will continue, which is which means also his sanity as well, and which is not going to be great for him, accumulating any more wealth. So it's just the crazier stuff. So he could just say, I've had it, I'm out of here. So what do we get out of this? Okay, so we have, the Fool in reverse. Again, and I think this is where the tide is turning. Again, people voted without thinking, the day after the election was not the time to ask, like, oh, what's a tariff? I mean, I'm not kidding you. And just going on some emotional whim because whatever, Biden, because of owning the libs. And so now they're seeing that they're falling off the cliff. There are a lot of those people that voted for her or seeing themselves saying, no more MAGA stuff. No, we're falling off the cliff. It's the farmers. It's, there's a lot of dairy farms in Wisconsin. It's a very blue-collar state. I think those people are starting to feel it in their pocketbooks. So this is why they hate him more. This is the fool. We feel foolish for how we voted. We feel foolish for not only being taken in by the orange poobah, but also by this clown, this ketamine clown. So I think hopefully this will last, and but this election does point out. I'm glad I watched Mary Trump before, because she said that in the presidential election, Trump took it by 7 points. Susan Crawford won it by 9. That has got, Wisconsin, that's kind of like everything USA. It has the farms, it has the factories. It's middle America, but it has universities, it has culture too. We're not looking at a bunch of, they're not just like, cheeseheads and blue collar and this and that, being snobby. No, they have cities, they have universities, they have culture, they have everything. So, it's kind of like Michigan. They represent all of the U.S. Every aspect, and with that kind of Midwest energy going on. Hey, Prince was typical Midwestern guy, and he made great music. So it is very representative of the states, and on some level, they've got to say, like, if we're losing something that we won by a ton load of points for the presidential election, it's really time to maybe rethink a few things. So, through this drug haze, he's got to be seeing that Maybe he needs to leave before he loses any more money. That's the thing. He'll throw money away on stupid things like buying votes that could land him in prison. But I'll bet you anything he's a leave for, oh, I forgot my wallet, going out to an expensive dinner. Of course, this is for entertainment purposes only, psychic speculation. So let's see. So I'm going to do sort of like a middle-size reading for what will the effects be for the rest of the U.S. Because I think some of that did come out in the last reading, so I don't need to do a super long one. So we're good old Moon Garden cards here. So let's see where we are at now. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So Nine of Pentacles in reverse is saying to a lot of these people, and this spreads out to the U.S. too, is that, we're never going to be rich like the oligarchs. We're never going to have that kind of wealth. So why don't we have enough to be comfortable? And it's really time to it's just time to get real. It's just time to get realistic. So that could be a changing value from the election. So let's see what we have. Better give these a little bit. I think I did, but I better make sure. So let's see what the energy is behind that, because that's almost like a 180-degree flip. Okay, so energetically here we go. We got the Queen of Wands again, the Susan Crawford. And it's they didn't just vote for her, but they voted for her values. I don't know much about her. She seems like a, feet on the ground, grounded, progressive, Midwestern woman who, she's not going to be wearing designer clothes or anything like that. But, just kind of like a good, down-to-earth, democratic woman who wants to see justice. So this would be her. So this is like, they were ready for her. I mean, that other guy, what's his name? He was just like a freaking crazy MAGA guy. So let's see. Opposing. This would be the Eight of Cups in reverse. So the Eight of Cups in reverse, it is the walking away, but it's also walking back. It's kind of like walking back to family and what's familiar. And so I think that's what they did. They kind of walked back to their own values and said, what on earth were we thinking of back in November? Then we have the, let's see, we have the Conscious, the Page of Wands in reverse, which is saying, time to do things differently. And I would say that some of them did vote out of anger because of the damage that guy has done. I mean, really, the damage he's done. So they were voting against the Muskrat just as much as MAGA. So I think there was kind of like this is a way we can direct our anger instead of throwing it like a little kid tantrum. That's what he is. But go and express your anger at the polls. Let's see. The subconscious thought is the Page of Swords. So this is, I would say that deep down underneath there was a difficulty in communicating their regret about how they voted. So this is the way they do it. But it's kind of like being at a loss for words. Okay, so we got this, and let's see. In the past, it was all about hanging on to money, the price of eggs, all that BS that they got fed into, and, looking at the lack of money instead of Actually, when you're patient, you could see that at the end of the Biden administration, things that were going to be turned around, but no, 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 they had to dig their heels in. So I would say for the rest of the country, this may be very important because as I said, believe this does reflect a lot of people because it's swing and it has that states a pendulum from what I've seen. Okay, so here we go. So in the present, need I explain that? And yeah, that's kicking out the muskrat. We're having our little awakening, and he is not invited. Oh, see the guy turning his. We've got the angel in the background, and we got all those people turning their backs on him. So that's our theme card for today. So in the what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the rest of us here? The Seven of Swords. Yeah, this deck is okay. Okay, I think what this is saying is that with the butterflies on the swords, it's like we're just not going to. We're going to take a closer look and maybe not let people steal elections away from us. So this is all about they're talking about legislature that's going to at least in that state, going to clamp down on campaign donations. And I would say when we've got a new king on the throne or a new queen on the throne, that they're going to overturn that stupid Supreme Court Citizens United thing. So there's rumblings of that because that has stolen elections. So looking more long range, I think there's a lot of pause. This is about rethinking all of them having rushed to make a very, very foolish vote back in November. So this is kind of like hold the presses here. We've got to regroup. And I think a lot of it is that the leopards did eat some of their faces. So we've got that. And then let's see, in the conclusion, okay, the ten of they call these the staffs. Okay, that's in reverse. That's kind of ending, getting lost in the forest of our own and burdening ourselves with BS basically, and kind of cutting down the trees to see the forest more or less, and not carrying unnecessary burdens like unelected immigrants. Oh, excuse me, naturalized citizen. Let's see how long that lasts. And so that's pretty much a self-examination of we just can't be lost in the woods anymore, that we really do need to start to think about how we vote. And furthermore, let's see, we have the King of Wands, and maybe looking, starting to take a look and as to what is a good leader, someone that inspires and gets us all involved as being a big part of it, instead of saying I alone can solve the problem. So I think all the negativity with Fotis and the Muskrat, they're pretty much teaching us what we don't want in our leaders. So that is a big lesson, and that was a big FU to him for sure. That was an epic FU to him. So speaking of him, for the fun of it, I want to take a look and see about I think they really mean it when they say they want to go after him for election violation. So I want to see if there's anything that's going to come out of that, because I think part of the healing that could be done is if he's gone. If he's gone, that I mean, that would be a real morale booster. I also think that the guy at the top is very weak. I mean, he puts on a big show of I'm the big macho guy, but I mean, he and the Muskrat are examples of toxic masculinity and what masculinity really isn't. So, and they are starting to come from, because this is really interesting. This just fell on the ground. Yep, that's the mad. They're both losing their magic, and the weaknesses are coming out. They misused it and abused it. Now it is weakening, and that's the lesson of dictatorships. They never work. And now that things are moving so fast, they're not around for as long as they used to be. In the good old days of Hitler and Mussolini, they're gone in a nanosecond. Okay. So let's see. Is he going to be arrested for, well, that his wanting to flee, this fear is certainly there. So let's see what's going to happen here. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse. This is usually the family, the family business card. But I would say this in this deck, this is the riches that they have gotten. When this is upright, it's all about, they all worked hard. I mean, even the kids, like, they took out the garbage just to free up adult time. So any little thing that was done added to the prosperity of the family. In reverse, this is ill-gotten gains. So what could this could represent the money that he tried to use to buy the election, but I keep hearing that follow the money, follow the money. What could very possibly happen for entertainment purposes only is that as they dig deeper into the stuff that he tried to pull, they could come across some dirty money dealings with that too. That could all come, it's interesting, that could all come out of the treasure chest. So this could lead to other things. It all depends on the choice they make as to how much they pursue it. If they do, they've got enough stuff that goes beyond election fraud. So let's see a little bit. The Four of Pentacles. So what he's hung on to, he is going to lose. So it goes beyond how many millions of dollars he paid those people in his lottery, that in the end, he thinks, well, that's an investment, I'll make more. No, it's a reverse. He will be making less, and that ripples out to people are not buying that crummy car of his either. And so that stock has gone, whoa, down to the basement. So then we have in the future, the Queen of Cups again. Okay. Pondering her, yes, she's kind of pondering her possibilities in that cup. And it's very interesting to see that. That could be the whole thing of maybe him wanting to flee to go. He does have a mother. His mother enabler. So this may be the whole thing of maybe he wants to go back to his motherland, because I did say in a previous reading, she's preggers. Look at that closely. That belly's popping out. It's like 4 months, I guess, 4 or 5 months. So maybe he does want to go back to mama. He just in the illusion and delusion that's where he's going to find the comfort. But with somebody as damaged as that's merely an illusion. So let's take a little bit of the look on the bottom. Okay. This is the big adolescent hissy fit that he's probably throwing as we speak now. This is, yeah, the Knight of Wands in reverse is like, it's tantrum time. Definitely tantrum time. Tantrum before he's getting ready to flee. That horse is saddled up and ready to go. Then we have the, Two of Cups. This is really talking about, with him and Trump, it's like they're kind of, not that they were ever in love with each other, but even the facade is starting to fade. And what this is telling me is that he wants to break up with that. He wants to. It's like, leave while you still have the illusion that it's going, because God only knows you're weak enough as it is. And if they may have been fighting behind the scenes, they're never going to show it publicly, because after the Cory Booker performance and some emboldening, they're just sniffing around for that blood in the water. So these two are getting a little nervous. So it's like, time for you to go. You've done enough damage. Good job done. Time for you to go before they see how weak we really are. But they are weak, and everybody knows it. But, okay. Yes, so Eight of Cups in reverse. He wants to go back. He wants to leave here. But he wants to go back to the family, his fantasy family that doesn't really exist. I don't know if he's going to rotate between the baby mamas. I know he's been trying to avoid them, but he wants to go back to something that he considers a family. But he'll be disillusioned, and then all these cups in reverse. It's time to up the usage, the drug usage. Okay, then we have here the King of Wands in reverse, which is, if he can no longer be the tyrant here, it's time for him to go back and be the tyrant at his factories and his personal business, so he can now terrorize his workers, and which I understand is just absolute deplorable conditioned, and there's they're poking the cage with the trying to pit the races against each other and all this kind of thing. So if he can't do it on the national scale, and he knows he's getting weak, hey, time for me to go and terrorize the people that I have working for me, because that's where I have the power. So I think that the heat is on. And the really interesting thing about this is that we're not certain. There is going to be a big push for this. Now, whether in the end they have the guts to indict, arrest, and all of that thing, that remains to be seen. It could be coming more possible as the days go on. But what I have to say is that whether they do or don't, he's paranoid about it. I'm telling you, when you're on that kind of stuff, on any kind of drugs, the one common denominator is and I've said it before, they make you paranoid. So any whisper on top of, his man keeping him out of jail and vice versa, is that if this is going down on the state level, even the hint of it, he's going to be paranoid and run. He definitely is. So even the talk of it is making him very fearful. So at any rate, I think that is about it for our little rodent tonight. So it's no more cheese for him. He's out of there. He's all cheesed out in Wisconsin and probably the rest of the country. except for maybe Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, the places like that. But that's not enough. That's not enough. So, at any rate, what this is looking like is that it's a turning point to maybe have him head to the exit door, but there's a lot bigger stuff going on in representing the turn of a lot of people that voted for him that may not necessarily be MAGA. So we'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens. So that's it. So bye for now. Bye.